when the pandemic got to its prime, I literally pretty much lost all my contracts. What I did was I actually got a job as a garbage man in 2020, and nobody knows this. This is the first time anyone's gonna actually hear this.
You got a job in 2020 as a garbage man.
Yeah.
You have your properties.
Yeah.
You have Sam's Juices.
Yeah.
And you still got a job as a garbage man. Yeah.
I installed all those 150 units in the space of 3 weeks, bro. I made $20,000 in 3 weeks. And then I quit the garbage job.
We're back, episode 9. We got a very special guest today. And honestly, I want to give you your flowers, right now, because honestly, and I mean this very genuinely, you remind me of the late, great Nipsey, just the way you move.
Appreciate
honestly, just the way you move, like honestly, just with the whole business aspect, with your community stuff that's about to come out. But I don't even want to introduce you because I feel like you can do it best.
Yes.
Please introduce yourself.
All right, man. Thank you for having me here. Man, some people call me Sam, Robert, Sammy, but my name's Sam Walters. I am an entrepreneur. I don't even want to call myself an entrepreneur because it's just weird still processing it. I'm just a businessman, I guess, with a lot of creative ideas and a lot of things that I want to accomplish and things that I plan on doing. So I just try to put my mind to anything and put all these ideas that I have and put it on paper and then, make it actually happen in real life, bro.
Okay,
so
dope.
that's who I am.
Dope. So It's hard. When I was doing research for this episode, because you're not super on social media like that, so I had to ask a few people like, hey, what is he into? This, that, and third. Yeah. So right now I got 4 properties.
Yes.
Sam's Juices is in Scarborough Town Center.
Yes, correct.
The cleaning business.
Yes.
Am I missing anything?
I actually am like a silent investor. A lot of people don't actually know about me because I don't really tell it, but I've actually invested in a few businesses. So I get payout pretty much every month from a couple businesses.
Wow,
yeah. So I do it silently, but because a lot of the people, who I've done it with obviously don't really want that to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Which is rightfully so. And it's from a legal standpoint, but So kind of like a secret investor is what they call it, like a silent investor.
Yeah,
or something investor. Like that. Yeah, silent investor.
Okay.
So that's pretty much, how I get my bread.
Okay, dope, bro.
Yeah.
So let's take it back. I want to take it back to where this started and the mindset behind it. Out of high school, what were you doing?
Out of high school, I was actually already working because I actually got my first job when I was 14. My ex's dad got me a job at Wendy's, believe it or not. Yeah. And but since I was young, I always knew I had to work. I was playing basketball. I went to Campion and I played basketball. And after that first year in grade 10, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to the pros, so I got to do something, fam. You know what I mean? Basketball's not the way for me. I'm not going to grow anymore. I was literally this height in high school. And I didn't grow anymore. So I started working, and I said I wanted to find a way how I could literally get to make $100,000. When back in the day, we always hear if you make $100K,
when you were in high school, you started thinking about this.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I'm like, how can I make $100K? Because back then, obviously, cost of living was different, right? So we all used to hear, if you make $100,000, you're good.
Yeah.
Right. It's not until I got old I realized $100,000 wasn't nothing. You know. But in high school, I'm like, okay, how do I make $100K? I obviously knew I wasn't going to reach it, but I wanted to start making my way towards getting there. Yeah. So when I was in high school, I actually got a full-time job at the Zellers factory. So I would leave school at 2:30 and then I would go work the 3 to 11 shift. And I did that every day for a year.
Wow.
And I was
grade 11,
fam. And I was only making $8 an hour.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, okay, cool. This is not going to cut it. So I actually got a job at McDonald's too when I was in grade 11 and started working there. And I was grinding McDonald's. So I would do morning shifts on the weekend. Yeah. And then during the week, I would work at the Zellers factory, just throwing boxes on trailers. Literally all day. And then I was like, yo, it's cool. So I was in grade 11 and I was making $1,500 every 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm like, yo, I'm making somebody's full-time income. So I'm like, this is
and grade 11, you're popping with that type of money.
I was fam. I was one of the first guys to have my own car. So I'm rolling up and I was like, yo, how you afford that? I'm like, yo, I'm working for this. You know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, I saw the potential to be in grade 11 and make $40,000 a year. Yeah. I'm like, bro, then I can make $100,000 a year. 100%. I just got to find other avenues and other ways to do it. So as I kept getting older, I'm like, okay, cool. The age of 18 hit, I got a job with the city of Brampton. Okay. And I became a caretaker of the building. Wow. So I started cleaning toilets, showers, sweeping, setting up parties. And then by that time, I was already 2 years in. And one day I was actually setting up a party room for one of the city officials. And she's like, yo, you'd be super great working at a call center, like the city of Brampton call center, answering calls. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what, for me, I always like to transition. I always like to change. So I'm like, yo, let me go and let me just check it out. She gave me an interview. She's like, you're hired. So I literally left the rec center from cleaning and I started working for Brampton 311 answering calls.
Okay.
So I was dealing with property tax issues, bylaw. And mind you, I was like 19 years old, bro. And I'm answering calls and I'm looking through this stuff and I'm like, wow, like I'm literally taking calls.
And you're understanding concepts
from then, bro. So I'm like, cool, this is crazy. So I started dealing with property tax, started looking at the housing prices. So I'm like, bro, I need to own a house.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm just like, this is crazy, bro. If these people's houses are worth this much now, in my head, I'm like, yo, it's going to be worth a lot more when I'm older.
Yeah.
So I kept grinding, kept working, saving my cake. And then that was pretty much it, like literally right out of high school, grinding. And then I got the opportunity when I was 21 to get a bus driving job. Because I'm like, yo, how do I get a house? I'm like, I'm not going to get a house only making this amount of money. So I ended up getting the transit job. I was blessed with that, thank God. And yeah, the rest was history after that, bro.
Holy smokes.
The rest was history after that.
So with these jobs, you didn't even think about college or university?
No, college was never a thing for me, bro. It was never a thing. I went to Humber for literally 4 months because my mom wanted me to go.
Yeah.
And I always knew in the back of my mind that I didn't need to go to college to be successful because I saw like my cousins or other family members who had all these degrees and they were still working at Walmart, bro. And I'm like, that's just not the way, bro. You know what I mean? But as I said, I always kept it in the back of my head, like, how do I make 100K? So I knew I couldn't. Your
driving factor.
Yeah, it was my driving factor. I'm like, I can't go to school and make 100K, bro.
Yeah.
There was just no way I could do that. Like I needed my time.
Yeah.
Right. So time was very valuable to me even when I was young.
Yeah.
So it was either leave school and go chill with my friends and do the most, or leave school and go throw boxes at a Zeller's factory. Wow. So for me, time was very valuable from a very young age, and I knew I needed to put my time in and put my work in to kind of accomplish those things, bro.
So you sacrifice. I'm guessing you sacrifice a lot of your social life, like what normal 18-year-olds do and stuff like that.
Yo, anyone that knows me will tell you, bro. Like from like people were going out to, as I said, all age parties we were talking about earlier, and just different things. I didn't go. Like I wanted to work. I was working every weekend. I started like washing dishes. Even like when I got the transit job, I was actually working at Turtle Jacks.
Yeah.
I was working at Turtle Jacks and I was washing dishes on the weekend, bro. Yeah. So when I would finish my transit job Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm washing dishes at Turtle Jacks, bro.
Jeez.
Just to make bread.
Okay.
So like, yeah, I've kind of been just grinding, bro. Okay. And that's been my mind. Like, yo, put your time to use now so that later on I could be free.
Did you ever have any retirement goals from early?
Yeah, like I always knew like I didn't want to be working a lot. Like I saw my mom and dad grind so much and I'm like, this can't be real life, bro. You know what I mean? Like we didn't come from the best financial state, but I felt like they were just grinding just to be back at the same point every month.
Yeah.
Like
that's what the system does.
It was literally, they were caught in the system. So I always told myself, you know what? By the time I'm 35, I want to retire from labor. So when I tell people that, they're like, oh, they always laugh at me. And I'm like, no, it's not a joke, bro. I want to retire from physical labor. I'm not saying I'm not going to manage my businesses, but I'm not going to be sweeping anymore. I'm not going to be like lifting up boxes and doing things like that, right? I'm going to retire at 35. And I always knew that when I was young.
Wow.
So I'm like, if I put the time in now, by the time I'm 35, I can just manage the things I have, right? And the things I'm invested into so that I can just be free, bro.
I rate that.
Yeah.
Dope. So let's talk about Sam's Juices. You are now in Scarborough Town Center?
Yeah, Scarborough Town Center.
Where did it start?
I started in Los Angeles.
Really?
Me and my homies. Yeah. Me and my homies literally, shout out to Wolf, McCasey and Charms. Those are my guys.
Yeah.
We were hiking the Hollywood sign one day and it was super, super, super hot outside. I'm like, yo guys, we need something to drink.
Yeah.
So after hiking that, we literally went down to Beverly Hills. We drove over there and there was a Caribbean juice bar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this is insane. Like when you're coming from like a Jamaican household, like we make pine and ginger, carrot juice, all those good juices. You already know, like our family does that. So bro, there was lineups for this pine and ginger juice. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like
I can get the authentic stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I can get the good stuff. But in my head, as I said, I'm super creative. And I'm like, how do I do this and make it my own? So literally we all sat inside that store and I'm like, okay guys, when I get back to Toronto, I'm going to do my own Caribbean juice bar. Man, them are laughing at me, man. I'm like, yeah, whatever, bro. Because you know what it is? I'm one of those guys that I always have ideas.
Yeah.
And I'll tell my guys like, yo, like, I'm gonna start this, I'm gonna start that. And some people laugh, but it's like, I already map it out in my head. And I really believe that I can do like literally anything.
Yeah.
So I came home and then I looked at rent and I'm like, in Toronto, they're charging like 8-10 grand. So I'm like, I can't open up a brick and mortar. Yeah. So I open up a food truck.
Yeah.
Right. So my first year, I actually rented a food truck for like $500 a month. Wow. For the summer month. And I rented that truck.
That's not a lot though.
It's not a lot of money, bro. Okay. And literally I researched how to get a food truck in Canada. So I wrote down on a paper how to get the truck. Next,
what are those steps?
Okay, so first you pretty much, like if you're going to rent it, what you're going to do is pretty much just, you can find different rental like food truck companies. Yeah. You rent it from them, but it's like it's being put in your name. So it's like you own that truck for that moment of time.
Okay.
So the owner of the truck will put the truck in your name. And then you have to go and get your plates and everything and get your sticker like you're getting an actual car.
Okay.
And then you get your insurance.
Okay.
Once you have that, now you can go to the city of Toronto and say, hey, this is my truck, because it kind of is.
Yeah.
And then you get your license, your permits, get an inspection, and then you're on the road.
Do you have to do a different type of license, or you have to?
Yeah, you have to get like a truck license.
Yeah.
And then you also have to get a city license, pretty much saying that like, okay, this truck was inspected by the city.
Okay.
And then you get a plate, like one of those little small plates, and it's pretty much like a food and concessions plate.
Okay.
So now you can park up literally at different places and actually sell food from it.
Yeah.
So I did that process. I researched how to get it done, got my health inspection, and then I had to wrap the truck obviously with my logo and branding. And then once that was done, literally, bro, I probably only invested into that process about $4,000.
That's
that's it. Compared to the $8,000 I was gonna go spend a month to open, I'm like, this way I can be on wheels, I can be everywhere, and I can reach anybody. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to do my first year. I'm not going to park up. I'm going to go to different food festivals. So this way I can go to where the people are at. This way I don't got to worry about traffic. The traffic's already there.
Yeah.
I also told myself I'm going to make my truck stand out. So I made my truck bright blue and put a bunch of fruits all over it.
Because Sarah was doing the videos at the time.
Yes. So I said, what can I do to make things stand out? Because people are visual. Like people will see things and they're like, yo, that's crazy. And people are literally coming up to my truck just because my truck looks sick. So and that was the first win for me. It's like, okay, cool. People like my truck now. Let's make the product great. So that's how it started. I registered for 15 festivals my first year. 15 festivals.
Do you have to pay a fee?
Yeah, there's a vendor fee. So depending on the festival, if it's a 1 day or 2 day.
What's the averages?
It can range anywhere from $300 to $2,500.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't do a lot of the big festivals. So I didn't pay $2,500 a lot.
Yeah.
I spent more on like the 700 range.
Okay.
So with all in all, with the festivals, I probably invested about 10K for the whole summer. But the reward is greater.
Yeah.
The reward is greater.
Sam's Juices.
Exactly. I was at Caravana. So think about this million of people. That was one of my biggest festivals, bro. And we're in Caravana and we're selling what the people like.
Yeah.
So our pine and gingers, our lemonades, our smoothies, right? So if you think about it this way, not to get off topic, if you invest, let's just say $2,500 for a 1 day Caravana festival, but you're selling to 5,000 people.
Oh, that's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's
right. So that's how my mind is. Like, that's how I thought about it. So that's pretty much how the truck got started. Yeah. The first year was just all festivals.
Gee, so how long have you been have the Sam's Juices now?
It's since 2019.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. The idea was created in 2018, obviously by the trip.
Yeah.
And then I came home and then I pretty much executed it. And then in 2020, they invited me into Scarborough Town Center, but I wasn't ready for it. So I actually told them no.
In 2020?
In 2020.
Okay.
I told them no. And it was a pandemic, so I was kind of scared of how things would go.
That's a good choice though.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? I'm going to divert a little bit, but there was no food festival, so my truck was sitting.
Yeah.
By this time now, I said, we're getting approached in 2021. They called me again. And I'm like, bro, this must be like God, like saying, yo, bro, just go try this out. You know what I'm saying? Somebody wants you in there. You know what I mean? So I said, yes, I accepted it. And I said, okay, I'll try it out. And like, here we are now pretty much in a mall. Okay. So literally in the space of 3 years, every year, I just elevated the business, bro. Elevated and just tried things out and took a risk. How
did they even find you for, like, who contacts you, the mall? Like, how did that connection happen?
Yeah. The mall has people who are pretty much literally like
scouts.
Mm-hmm. And they go and scout little businesses and stuff. But I'll tell you guys why I actually got into the mall. The George Floyd thing was going on. And George Floyd thing made people realize, like, okay, cool, we got to shed more light on Black businesses.
Yeah.
And we got to do things for Black businesses. So there was a wave where the mall kind of wanted to work with different Black businesses. So I'm super grateful for them that they even looked at me as one of the Black businesses they wanted to be involved with. So that George Floyd thing, it literally pushed everything.
Yeah.
So, right. There was literally loans going out. There was grants. Okay. Black business grants, Black business loans, all these different things. So the mall saw that as an opportunity where they can help Black businesses. Mm-hmm. So they reached out to me and say, hey, you're a Black business. We see that you're doing great. We love your brand. Let's have a partnership. And I said, okay, cool. Dope. That's how the first initial one went down. Yeah. And they reached back out to me again and said, hey, Black businesses are still popping. We want to try you again. So I said, you know what? Let's just do it, man. Let's just try it out. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. It's like, I'm like, if I don't try, I won't know.
100%.
You know what I mean? So here we are now.
How's it going right now? Like
things are great, bro. Yeah. Things are great. And why they're great is because we're literally bringing something that's different. It doesn't exist in that mall.
Especially in that community.
That's
perfect location.
Perfect, bro. Everyone knows Scarborough has beer Caribbeans, right? And everybody knows they love patties and stuff. So for example, like I said, you know what? I like stuffed patties, right? Yeah. It's something that I like. And I try to bring things to the brand that I actually like.
Yeah.
Because for me, if I don't like them, I don't want to sell it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
it's almost fraudulent.
It's almost like fraudulent, right? So I used to have stuffed patties back home when I used to live in Brampton. It was a big thing. You know, you stuff the patty with like lettuce, cheese, and mayo. So I'm like, I'll bring this, but with my own twist.
Yeah.
People love patties, so they're willing to maybe try something that, you know, like a stuffed patty. So I brought that. I love jerk chicken sandwiches. I brought that literally with cocoa bread and jerk chicken. Those are going, and those are booming, bro. And then I love burrito bowls, but I'm like, instead of going Chipotle, I make my own chicken burrito bowl. I'll make it a jerk chicken burrito bowl. Jeez. So I put that together, put the recipes out, I worked it out. It's a hit. And then smoothies, bro. I love just smoothie because I came from a background, my parents were juicing all the time, right? So I put different tropical flavors together that you would see in the Caribbean. I literally researched every Caribbean smoothie flavor you can think of and put different flavors and different combinations together. And me and my sister literally just tested them out. One day we were just testing smoothies.
So it's a family business?
I don't want to say it's a family business because we didn't start it together, but they were a part of the way every day. So it's still a family business, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. They're just not on paper. Yeah. But my sister and my mom literally worked out all these different flavors with me, bro. One day we were at my mom's house and we were just juicing different flavors, bro. It's crazy. Like I can't even go how deep it is. Jeez. where we started from. So that I brought all that in, and we're in the store now, and I brought all those ideas together, and it's working.
Are you facing any challenges right now with the?
Yeah, definitely challenges, because one challenge that I would say the most that people don't even realize before they go in business is like, you got to see who your competitors are, right? Okay. So one of the challenges for me right now is that I'm in a mall with other beverage businesses, right? So I got real fruit, I got yogurt fruits, I got freshly squeezed, and I got the bubble tea. So I'm literally,
and those are heavy hitters too.
Those are heavy hitters that they're big franchise brands. I'm just a small guy. So the challenge is how do I not be like them, but still be like them
and still compete,
right? So pricing is a big thing, right? Like that's a big point that you have to stay on. I can't be too expensive. Because people are like, why would I spend this when I could just go to real fruit, right? Aesthetics. So providing something for them that they can maybe come in and like I have my selfie wall. So that's like a big hit.
Photo.
People take a photo. And I'm like, Instagram is the way of life. So I'm like, okay, let me create a selfie wall that people could just take pictures on. So that became a hit. Now it's like a staple of our store. People just come to my store just to take a selfie. Literally. And I'm like, they'll come in. Like people will buy other food and be like, yo, can I take a picture in front of your wall? I'm like, I don't care. Do it. I love that because that's more exposure for me.
That's free reach.
Bro, from the day that I started we opened the store at 400 followers. We literally went from 400 followers to literally 1,600 followers in the space of like 2 months and a half.
Jeez.
And that's just from people reposting our stuff all the time. And that selfie wall is just like a staple.
And that's reach.
And that's natural, not forced. You know what I mean? So that was one thing that I decided to do. And then also signage is very important. So catching people's attentions. There's still some people who don't know that we serve food because you see Sam's Juices, but there's nowhere there that says food. So it's like, if you're in the mall now, it's like, okay, I'm going to either go to this new juice place or go to what I know. People love familiarity. People like what they know. So they want to go to that. So instead of going to Sam's Juice, I'll just go to real fruit juice because that's just where I know already. Now you walk in, you smell the food and you're like, oh, you guys have food. Like, there's hundreds of people who came into my store like, oh, I didn't know you sell food. Which is my fault because I didn't market it properly. Right. So now we'll have signages at the front of the store that shows that we have a jerk chicken sandwich. It shows that we have a burrito bowl. We have stuffed patties. Bro, literally the day I put up that one sign of patties, bro, we literally sold out that day.
Jeez.
But that shows me that people just want to see stuff. Like they're very visual.
Would you consider adding something to Sam Juice as the name?
I thought about that. To be honest with you, I thought about that. Maybe my next location, I'll probably still put Sam's Juices, but on the bottom now I'll put Caribbean drinks and eats. So people know we have food, because that has been a downfall of my business. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of customers just because they walk by and they're like, I don't feel for a juice, but they might feel for something small to eat, and they don't know I have it.
And you have the flavor.
And I have the flavors, bro. So that was one thing I've definitely learned that I might have to transition into, maybe like incorporating something in the name or the sign. For sure.
Dope. So I want to talk about a little bit about the mindset. Like, you wanted to make 100K early. That's not normal. That's not normal. But I want to talk about like the mindset and how you overcome like certain fears that you may have, and what are they?
Man, wow. How do I overcome it? For me, it's funny because how I overcome fear is actually just going into it. Right.
And what are some of those fears that you may have sometimes?
Well, some of the fears I have is that like I might fail. So something I try, I might fail. Believe it or not, like Sam's Juices is not like obviously my first business. I've actually tried other businesses that I've literally gone and registered the name and different things, but I just knew they weren't going to work. But I'm happy that I did that, because once I started it and got into it, I realized it was going to work. I didn't promote them or ever like tell people about them, but I actually tried it. So going into that fear of just starting it. So that was one thing I overcome. And then also my business not like lasting. It's still a fear to me now. Like, can my business last 25 years? So I'm not gonna lie to you, every day I would be driving and I'm like, yo, I wonder if my business is gonna be around in like 2025, because it's just unfair and I can't control that. But how I try to combat that is like creating new ideas and things and writing them on paper of like, okay, cool, I'll introduce this next year.
Okay.
Or I'll introduce this, you know what I mean? Like tomorrow.
So you're always forward thinking.
I'm always forward thinking despite having the fear of
never
those
getting
things.
comfortable.
I don't get comfortable, bro. Like for me right now, my business is not good.
Yeah.
I don't think my business is a good business, to be honest with you, bro. Like I literally, and it's not to be negative.
Yeah. I get what you mean, to be honest. I'm the same way.
Yeah. I don't think it's good because I just feel like I'm not where obviously the Chick-fil-A's are or the.
And you're not where what this is telling you where you're supposed to be.
Exactly where I'm supposed to be. So I'm super hard on myself and I put a lot of pressure on myself to be great, bro. You know what I mean? So for me, if I don't see certain things happening, I'm so, okay, my business is not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as I said, it's not to be negative. It's just it keeps me going, bro. It keeps pushing me and propelling me to a next level.
Oh, 100%. Are you reading any books or have you read any books that have changed your perception on anything?
Yeah, bro. Actually, right now, I'm actually reading a book called Buy Then Build.
What is it about?
It's about buying businesses as an entrepreneur and actually not actually starting up a business.
You know what? Me and my boy Douglas, like shout out to Douglas, like that's his thing. Like that's what he's into. Like, you know, like the art of buying businesses. Yeah. And from the information that I got from him, I didn't even know this is like a thing.
It's a thing, bro. And it's a thing for entrepreneurs. And I'll tell you, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm halfway through that book and I'll never start another business ever again.
Really?
I'll never start another business in my life, bro.
Really?
I will make enough money to buy businesses that are either failing or their owners want to retire.
And then you just add your own creativity and
add my own creativity because there's a lot of small business now that are actually profiting that the owners don't want to operate it anymore.
Okay.
Right. And you can buy that business for less than 100K. I can go in and just find a way how to scale up and how to make the business better.
Yeah.
Like literally as my mind has changed over the last month of reading this book.
Jeez.
And I think if I actually read this book, would I have started Sam Juice's? Probably not. I'll be honest with you. As much as I'm a creative person, I feel like I can inject my creativity into other businesses that are booming right now, make them boom even more.
And they did all the legwork.
So this book actually lays out literally like the groundwork and is saying like pretty much these businesses that have been around for 10, 20 years, they've done what you're trying to do now as a startup business.
Yeah.
So all these things that I'm doing now, Sam's Juices, the marketing, the pictures, everything, the social media, they've done all that already.
Yeah.
So I can come now and buy this business from these people that don't want it anymore. And now insert and inject my things into it and my ways to make this business grow even more. So right now, a lot of people don't know there's businesses that are generating right now $1 million in gross revenue that you can purchase for $100,000 a year.
What?
Yeah. But a lot of people don't do that research and actually know.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's just like, okay, cool. If I can save this, save that 100K, I can go right now and probably purchase a business right now that grosses $1 million, bro, a year. And a lot of people don't know that. So this book has literally changed my mind, bro.
I'm picking that up ASAP.
Yeah. No, it's really made my mind think differently. And it's crazy. And I'm also reading what's it called? The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yo, my boy just told me he finished that and he said that's one of his favorite books that he ever read.
It's been crazy because now it makes you look at money differently. It makes you look at yourself differently and how you think about money. Right. So that's kind of where I'm geared towards now, was changing my whole mindset on money.
Okay.
Right. So before, I just wanted to make $100,000, but what are you doing with that $100,000? Right. That was just the first step, making the $100K. But what am I going to do with that after the fact?
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Dope. All right. So let's get into the cleaning business. How long have you had it? Where is it at now? Yeah. Where do you plan to go with it?
Man, the cleaning business, a lot of people don't even know I have it because it's one of my low-key businesses, but it's been my long-lasting business. I've had it since I was 24.
Okay.
The reason I started the cleaning business is because I found it to be an outlet to get ahead a little bit quicker. My parents, they were in the cleaning business for a long time. They juggled it while they worked their full time. And I used to go and clean with them. And I'm just like, yo, I love this. This is dope. I'm a finished product guy. So it's like, I love going through the process. And then when it's done, I can look at it and be like, yo, this shit's clean. Excuse my language. Sorry. So I got into that because I just wanted a way to make extra cake. And when I got into it, I didn't realize how lucrative this business was. Right. So what I would do is I would work my bus job and then I would be done around 5 and then I would go clean offices after I was done. But how I got into it, I was literally printing off flyers and cards and I would go knock on businesses and say, hey, my name is Sam. I have a cleaning business. Would you love to have your place clean? And if you didn't love to have it clean, like, can I just give you a quote? Some people would let me quote to see if they'd get a better quote and some people just wouldn't. Yeah. But I got into that, started doing offices, started making a lot of connections and making a name for myself. And then, it just started exploding. And like, I didn't mean for it to explode. It was genuinely supposed to be a side hustle. And then it started exploding because I just started putting work in and I was actually doing good quality work. So I had the opportunity to start hiring employees. Now I can step away for a little bit and send employees now to these different contracts. And I was able to maneuver at the last 2 years of the business. It's like, okay, cool. How do I find a certain contract where I can put somebody in and I don't have to be there. And now I can still make money.
Yeah.
So now that freed up my time now to be working at transit still, but now my contracts are getting done for me.
Jeez.
So it's been very challenging. I would say with the pandemic.
Okay.
But I had to, obviously lose some contracts, but I was able to find a way how to maneuver pretty much through that pandemic.
How?
It's going to sound crazy. And a lot of people don't know this. So in 2020, when the pandemic got to its prime, I literally pretty much lost all my contracts. Right. So I lost them because they kind of went on hold and say, hey, we don't need cleaning. Yeah. A lot of the offices say we don't need you anymore because we just can't afford it. Or a lot of them said, okay, we're just going to pause the cleaning services. So, bro, as I said to you from the start, when I was younger, I'm a workaholic, bro. Yeah. What I did was I actually got a job as a garbage man in 2020. And nobody knows this. This is the first time anyone's going to actually hear this. I got a job as a garbage man in Orangeville and I was working for GFL, a great company.
So you got a job in 2020 as a garbage man. Yeah. You have your properties. Yeah. You have Sam's Juices.
Yeah.
And you still got a job.
I still got a job because, bro, at the time, in 2020, I pretty much left transit. So I quit transit in 2020 because I wanted to pursue obviously Sam's Juices and expand it, but nothing was happening in 2020. Yeah. So I said, you know what, bro? I don't want to be driving a bus anymore as much as I love it. Yeah. Cleaning business is not popping. This is the time to just take a chance and just go all in on myself. Yeah. But I'm like, I still need money to operate. Yeah. So with all the cleaning contracts on hold, I was looking for jobs, bro. I was looking for jobs. And like a lot of entrepreneurs don't want to tell you this, but there's some times where there's rough patches where you need to go work, bro. Yeah, 100%. You got to go work. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got to make money. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, cool. I don't want to do Uber. I don't feel like driving people around. What can I do? So I went on and I looked on jobs. I have a lot of experience. Yeah. I have my license from the bus. So I'm like, how do I leverage my license with driving a big vehicle? Because I have a CZ license. Yeah. So I said, okay, cool. I'm either going to go apply to go work at transit again, or I'm going to go ask for my job back. But I had too much pride to go ask for my job back after quitting a couple months. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll go work for, I'll just do garbage. Yeah. They were hiring crazy amounts of garbage because people were home more. Yeah. So they needed a lot of garbage people. So I saw that GFL was hiring. I applied right away and they called me back. And they're like, yo, we love your resume. Come in, do an interview. I did an interview, bro. I got the job literally in 2 weeks. I was literally doing garbage for 4 weeks. Jeez. Literally 4 weeks just throwing garbage out. And it was it was starting to get cold. It was like October and I'm there doing garbage outside. And then in the midst of doing garbage, I'm like, you know what? This job pays me $1,000 a week. How do I leverage this money to get back going with my clean business? So I said, you know what? Okay, it pays me $1,000 a week. If I do this for 6 weeks, I'll make $6K. Yeah. Right. So after taxes, you're left with $1,000 and they pay you weekly. Yeah. So bro, one day I was just sitting at home. I'm like, what can I pivot in my cleaning business and use this money for? We were in the height of the pandemic, right? So I'm like, you know what? People need sanitizer machines, like the automatic sanitizer machines. So I looked online to say, how can I get these sanitizer machines? Because this is when everybody was using sanitizer. Everyone's squirting the bottles. People are addicted to it. So I said, how do I pivot in my business? I went on this website and I went and I bought a sanitizer unit. And these guys sold me the unit with taxes and everything in $100 because I needed it for one of my contracts. Yeah. So I bought the unit for $100 and then I installed it. When I installed it, I put my cleaning sticker on it. So I went and printed all these stickers with my business on it and my number. So I put my sticker on it just to show I installed it. And if anybody came in the place, they would see it and call me. Bruh, I got like 50 calls. Jeez. Like, hey, I went into this place. I saw your sanitizer unit. Mind you, it's not mine. Yeah. It's just a blank white sanitizer unit, but I put my sticker on it. So it looks like it's mine. Yeah. So like, I need this unit. I had 50 calls. I'm like, yo, I don't have any. How am I going to get this? Yeah. So I went and I researched and I found a supplier out in China. They were selling sanitizer units for $70.
Alibaba links?
They're probably similar to Alibaba, but they were strictly just for cleaning supplies. Okay. I went and I ordered, I put in an order for 10 just to see what the quality is like. It came quick, came in like 5 days. I'm like, these are crazy. Okay. So I went and looked online and Googled how much people are charging to install sanitizer units.
And you know how to install them?
Yeah, because it's just 2 screws, you have a drill, and you install it. So I looked online, I'm like, damn, these people are charging like 125. I'm getting these units for $70. This is a lick. Yeah. This is a lick. This is quick. So, bro, I went and I installed 10 units for some of these 50 people. So realistically, in one day, bro, I made literally like $1,200 in one day.
Jeez.
One day, bro. Just off
capitalizing.
Yeah, just in one day. So I said, okay, cool. I'm like, let me work at this garbage job for 2 more weeks. Yeah. And I'm going to come up with $6K. So I took everything I made. I didn't pay no bills, bro, for like 6 weeks. Right? Wow. I didn't pay no bills. I'm going to take all my money and I'm going to order units. Yeah. So I ordered 150 units. I put about $7,000 in. I ordered 150 units and I upped my price because now we're in the height of the pandemic. This is a need. Yeah. I installed all those 150 units in the space of 3 weeks, bro. I made $20,000 in 3 weeks. And then I quit the garbage job. I quit the garbage job, man. Because I'm like, bro, this is crazy. So I quit the garbage job after making that 20K and then paid my bills.
Yeah.
Obviously paid what I had to do, rent, mortgage or whatever. And then, bro, I was back to investing back into this cleaning thing. So I used some of that 20K and I bought sanitizer, sprayer machines, foggers where they used foggers to disinfect. Started getting deeper in and started loving my business again because now I could put work into it. So now I went, bro, and I literally started going to businesses and started doing door knocking again. Mind you, this is in 2020, 2021. Started going back to the drawing board, started door knocking and saying, hey, we sanitize places for the lows. Like I was just charging just a simple price, right? So everybody wanted their place sanitized because everybody was so afraid. They didn't want to touch nothing. And obviously I wasn't trying to take advantage of people, but this was an opportunity to capitalize for my business. 100%. So I started going now and I started just leaving my cards and I started spraying places, started disinfecting, and everyone was giving them my number. Like, yeah, this guy Sam I knows, he disinfects. He has a cleaning business. So I was getting calls, bro, to literally disinfect like the entrances of Tim Hortons. Like Tim Hortons was calling me saying, yeah, we just need you to spray the entranceway. I had churches calling me saying, I need you just to spray seats. So literally in the space of quitting the job and literally I would say 2 months after, I probably made close to 100 grand in like 2 to 3 months. That's off of just investing 7K.
And that's off of having enough, I believe this is the right word, humility to go and be a garbage man.
And be a garbage man, bro. And I was literally, and I didn't tell nobody, not even my homies knew I was doing garbage, bro. You were the first person I told. Like the shorty at the time I was talking to, she knew because like, you know what I mean? I just called somebody, be like, yo, it's cold, this garbage stinks. But bro, I was doing garbage and not a lot of people know, bro.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But you have to pivot, bro. Like in a time like this, I'll tell anybody, if I lost it all right now, I'll go back and work. I don't care because I would work and then find a way to get back to being self-employed again. Because you have to do those things. You can't just sit around and expect things to just, one day it'll work out again. Nah, bro, you got to get back to it, bro. Right. So I was able to invest that money and get back to making a lot of money to put back into now, whether it be buying a business. And I use majority of that money now to help me renovate Sam's Juice store. So all I kept doing was just leveraging the money I made and kept putting it back in and not wasting it on things and getting me to where I am now, bro.
Jeez. So you learned from like an early age or a young age is that how to control your ego. Yeah,
my ego, bro. I drove the worst cars forever. Cause for me, like, I feel like I could always bought the newest Benz. I could always bought the newest things, but for me, it wasn't a thing, bro. And I realized all those things will come later on. So it's like delayed gratification. I'm sure you've heard that term before, right? And I've heard that since I was young. I've had mentors before me tell me, yo, work now. And then later on, when you're in your late 30s, you can enjoy all the fun stuff, right? So like not going to parties, not going out, not going into relationships because I don't have the time for that stuff, right? So I've had to risk a lot of relationship with a lot of great women, but it was time to work, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I learned how to just put the ego aside and just work and then enjoy all those things later on.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Amazing. So that's the cleaning business.
Fam. Clean business is another monster, man.
Okay, cool. And I want to talk about the 9 to 5. You just quit how long ago?
I just quit October, I would say right before, well, I actually took a leave before October 2020. Okay. So I can call it quitting around like the summer of 2020. Okay. Yeah, so very recent.
What was the importance of the 9 to 5 when you were doing it? And what was the mindset to quit?
Yeah. I would say the importance is because like when it comes to being self-employed, it's very hard to get a job. To get a loan, right? When I say a loan, it's to get a mortgage. They look at you, they want like statements, they want all these different things. So it's going to take time to build up that reputation with your business and show that you're making a certain amount. When I can go to the bank and be like, okay, I need a mortgage for this. I've always loved real estate, but I'm like, for me to get real estate, I need an actual job. So I feel like I more so kept my full time so that I can invest. Like I bought my first house at the age of 21, as I told you.
Oh, wow.
And that's from just my transit job. So I worked that and I knew that, okay, cool. As long as I have solid money on paper, the banks will approve me and I can invest into real estate and then use that money to keep investing and stuff. But I also knew I can leverage that full-time job to start my businesses and to invest into the things that I want to do to later on become self-employed. Okay. So that was my main thing when it came to driving. But I got to a certain point where it's like, I was driving the bus, I was loving it, but I realized this wasn't for me.
It's not it.
And I was starting, everything has an expiration date, like everything, no matter what. You start to feel it in your mind, in your body, like, yo, I can't do this anymore. I need change. So as I started knowing that, it was I would say a year before I actually quit. So I started preparing myself. I started saving money, started clearing off some of my bills and my debts and saying, okay, cool. If I'm going to quit, I can't have any bills, any debts, right? Okay. I got to make sure I'm good. So I just prepared myself mentally for a year and said, okay, cool, this is what I'm going to do. And then by that time came, I was ready to go, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. Shit. And it was the worst time because it was COVID. Everybody's looking at me crazy. Like, how you quitting in the middle of COVID? You have such a secure job. Yeah. But there's nothing, I don't believe in secure. I don't believe in security. There's nothing like security doesn't exist. Yeah. Because right now, You could be working a job and a company comes and buys it and it's saying, we don't need you no more.
Yeah.
And now what? Where's your security?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, I feel like I need to create that security for myself. And the only way to do that was for me was to be self-employed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. We didn't even touch the a part of the real estate yet. Cause now you have 4 properties and you got your first one at 21, like you were just saying.
Yeah.
What was the strategy towards that? And how do you end up at 4?
Yeah. Man, how do I end up there? I would say the strategy with that was just creating freedom. As I told, like for me, like I have this big board where actually freedom is written on it, right? So for me, I always looked at real estate as a way to kind of just get out and to have freedom for later on in life, right? So buying that first property for me was just like, obviously it was an accomplishment, but I knew I was going to be able to take money from that and create more things and more opportunities for myself. So that process was very different back then. Back then, the bank only wanted 5% down and real estate was actually cheaper. Yeah. So my first property I bought,
where was it?
It was in Innisfil.
Oh, okay.
So that's close to Barrie.
Yeah.
When I bought that property, one of my friends, he was already buying out there too. So thankfully I had a friend who was on the same wavelength as me. And I saw that and I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna go and do the same thing. So I bought the property for 200 grand at the time. Oh, mind you, so cheap. Bro.
Yeah.
And they only wanted 5% down. So it was like 13K at the time, if my math is right. Light. It wasn't much, but because I was working, I was able to do that. And I think my mom helped me a little bit with the closing costs and stuff like that. But I was able to fully get in and fully invest. And from there I said, okay, cool. I can use this money, take out a second mortgage or whatever and buy a second property. I had the opportunity to invest with somebody for my second property. And then the rest was history from there. I just bought a couple other pre-constructions and then I actually flipped them back. And I just kept investing. But I'm like, I want to have properties that I can actually hold on to for the future. So I did that, took the money that I invested and just bought other pre-constructions.
Okay. Yeah. So now we're at 4.
Yeah, total. And then that's it.
You're not doing anymore?
For me, to be honest with you, and I don't want to knock anybody, and I know there's probably people that love real estate. Yeah, real estate still comes with burdens. You like these properties that you own, like you still have to have mortgage, right? So at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, yes, I can have tenants in them, but this debt's on me. Yeah, I don't want to owe nobody nothing. Yeah, true. When I say freedom for me, I look at it differently. It's no debt and it's money in the bank. Okay, right. So I just don't feel like I could move freely having a bunch of mortgages and having things that I owe to people. Yeah, right. So as I said, everybody's different. Some people will disagree with me. They're okay with having mortgages and then just leveraging them, which is cool. But for me in my life, I don't want too much real estate because I don't want to have too much debt.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but there are people like I hear like Grant Cardone and stuff. They found ways to like leverage debt. Yes. Yeah. You're just not into that.
I'm just not into that, bro. Because for me, like, thank God for my mom. She was always like, Sam, like, you're working hard, keep your money and don't have to give it to nobody. And that's stuck in my head, right? So I look at it this way, right? You look at it, if you make 100K a year, right? After taxes, you're left with maybe 65. Yeah. Right? So now if you have your rent mortgage in Toronto, it's 2,500, right? So now you're saying 6,500 for the month. You're only left with 4 for the month. If you have debts and you have all these other things, bro, you're not left with much to live with. Facts. And I've always a person that I just wanted to live freely. Yeah. Do what I want, when I want. Whenever so I don't want to have debt. Yeah. I want to make that 100K, but only have to maybe just pay rent and that's it and be left with maybe like, $4 grand to actually play with and not give to somebody. Right? So that's how the mindset I've had. And I've been in debt before. And it's not a great feeling, bro. It's not a great feeling to have to work and then know that at the end of when your paycheck comes, it's going to something. Yeah. So I said, how do I try to become, debt free eventually and not have anything and just enjoy my money? Because I feel like when you're the freest, when you're not tied down to anything. True. So I think mortgage will probably eventually just be my only debt. Okay. Yeah. And then eventually work to pay it off and have nothing at all. Yeah. Right. So it will take time. I'm not saying something's going to happen tomorrow, but it will take time. And that's kind of just how I want to live.
That's your strategy.
That's my strategy. Because it's not for everybody, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Which is cool. I dig that for real. So the community work, you do a lot of community work and I've been hearing for a couple of years now. Yeah. Just explain to us like what you're into.
Man, I just love doing things for people and the community. My parents were very big on community stuff. When we grew up, I remember we used to have to go buy rice and like chicken to go drop off to the shelters. My parents made it very adamant that like, Christmas time we're gonna serve, we're gonna give. Or my dad would always buy extra rice. I used to ask my dad like, yo, I have extra food here. Yeah. He's like, Sam, you never know, somebody might need it. He's like, somebody might need rice. They might need bread. Yeah. He's like, always buy extras just in case. So that's been instilled in my head for a long time. And community's been very important. Charity. I started doing an Alzheimer's foundation, which I started 4 years ago. And my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 5 years ago. Wow. So that's the reason, 4 years ago. So that's the same timeline. I started it right after. And I said, you know what? My dad is diagnosed with Alzheimer's. His memory's going, but how do I give back in that community, especially now because it's close to home.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to start a fundraiser gala in the community to bring awareness to the Black people and other people who have Alzheimer's, because it's not talked about a lot.
Yeah, no, it's
and
not.
Alzheimer's is very detrimental.
Yeah.
Like when I mean your memory's gone like this, it's gone.
And you're dealing with it.
And I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
I literally woke up one morning and my dad didn't remember my name. So that's how deep it is, right? Yeah. So for me, him being a community man, it's like carrying on that legacy of doing that, right? So I said, I'll start this fundraiser gala, raise money for them, donate to them and, help to their cause and the things that they're doing. So I volunteer at the Alzheimer's Actual Society and I serve lunch to the Alzheimer's patients there. Amazing. I serve lunch. I play games with them. We do music together. Yeah. So that's very big in that community of Peel for me, because it's like, it's so touching to me. Right. So other things that I've decided to do with that now, I'm like, how about I expand on that? Like 2 winters ago, we started an initiative where we got a bunch of groceries together and we went downtown and we had a group of people and we handed out like little care packages. Yeah. We handed out breakfast, all those things. And for me, it's just big because this is what I've been grown on.
And that's what life is about, serving, right? That's
serving.
What I believe in.
It's serving. And I'm staying true to me. Yeah. I'm staying true to what my parents raised me up on. Right. And now obviously we have the Black legacy that you're a part of. And this community initiative is just to shed light on our Black men, because I feel like our Black men need to be a real figure for a lot of the Black youth that are growing up. Because you can see, bro, it's crazy out here. These streets are hot and these Black kids don't know nothing else but shooting. Yeah. Right. And doing other things. So for that, my main goal with that is to start a mentorship camp, which is going to start next year. And I want to mentor young Black kids in our community. And I want to just teach them the basics. Because remember, I was young and I wanted to make 100K. Yeah. There's a lot of other young men and women that want to do 100K, but they're going to do it like illegally. Yeah. So whether it be chopping or whether it be doing fraud and all those other things. That's what I did for a minute. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So, and I had friends who were in that community, but I'm like, it's just not the way. So now if I can get these youth from young and like teach them about credit, teach them about, you know what I mean? Like how to obviously leverage certain things. Yeah. What an incorporation is, a sole proprietorship, all these different things from young, it's kind of going to be instilled in them, right? So all those ideas that they have from young, you want to be this, you want to be that, but you don't have to do anything illegal to get to that. You can actually start a business from when you're so young. Yeah. Right now I know little like young girls who are like 19 who are starting businesses and they're Black. Yeah. Right. Amazing. So there's the creativity is there. People want to do it, but it's just us
the direction.
Like the direction and guidance. So for me with the community, it's something that I'm really going to just really focus on for the next 5 years.
Wow. Amazing, bro. Amazing. What type of legacy do you want to leave when it's all said and done?
Man, the legacy I want to leave is just that, Sam was a community man. He was a person that shared information. He never really had much of an ego. Yeah. He wanted to help others. Not. Yeah, he wanted to help others. He wanted to just give back. You know what I mean? And for me, like my purpose on this earth is just to impact others, bro. And I knew that from a young age. Yeah. But I knew I had to do these certain things to inspire other people so that they could see it. I have people every day that come to me like, yo, Sam, you inspire me, bro. Yeah. Like, people come into my store and be like, yo, I've been watching your journey for so long. Yeah. And I'm about to start my own store or, you know what I mean? I want you to mentor me. And that's what I'm doing it for, right? Like, this is why I'm going so hard. And I want that to be my legacy, that I left an impact on people. And that's just it, bro.
And that ultimately came from your parents too.
Yeah, that came from my parents. I honestly blame my parents for my success. I know that sounds weird, but they instilled little things. Yeah. As I was going, I look back now from my mom telling me, hey, work hard and keep your money, right? Yeah. From my dad just showing me what it is to work 2 jobs, have a side business, have all these little things that, that my parents kind of I got to see them doing. Yeah. It stuck with me subconsciously. And that's why I am the way I am today,
And that just makes me think like how important your environment is.
Yes.
Because you grew up seeing the great examples of hard work and even entrepreneurship with side businesses. And now look how you're living your life.
I know. It's crazy.
Environment is everything.
Yeah. My dad was low-key an entrepreneur and he just might have never known it. Right. Like, but that's kind of like, he kind of gave off those entrepreneur vibes. I think that just stuck with me from a young age. Yeah.
Jeez. So. All right. So this is a question that I ask everybody on the show. I want to know what's the best advice that you've ever gotten and what's the worst advice? And you don't have to say any names.
Man. Can I start with the worst advice?
Yeah, for sure.
The worst advice I've ever had is don't settle down with one girl, have plenty.
Don't settle down, have plenty.
Don't settle down with one girl, have plenty.
Why was that the worst advice?
Because the worst advice it had is because I don't believe that advice is for everybody. And why that's the worst advice for me is because I feel like when you're in this entrepreneurship life, when you're in this business life, and especially when you're young and up and coming, like having a lot of like women around it's a distraction.
It is.
It's a very big distraction. And I'm not, as I said, I'm not knocking my galluses out there and stuff, but when you're actually trying to get somewhere, bro, you cannot have distractions.
Yeah.
You're better off having one good woman to literally just like build with you.
Yeah.
And someone who you can come to, because in this entrepreneurship life, it's very stressful. There's a lot of different like ups and downs, and you can't go to plenty women with that information.
Okay.
You're better off having one solid girl, one solid woman that you can kind of lean on and you guys can build with. And obviously, like, I'm not innocent, but I went through that where I was distracted by different things.
Me too,
right?
to be honest.
Yeah, and I was pulled different ways because I was trying to give my energy to different women.
Yeah.
Right. And it ended up costing me. Yeah. Right. So that was, I would say, some of the worst advice that I actually took and listened to. Because I mean, when you're young too, bro, like, you know what I mean? You want to have fun, right? You want to have things, but you got to realize that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I realized that early that that's not for me. Right? Because it's just like, if I need to be zoned in and I want to have businesses and I want to do all these things, I can't be giving all my energy and time away, because what do I have left for myself?
Interesting.
So it's like, I'd rather put that energy and time into just one solid person and then build from there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not stretching myself so thin.
Yeah. No,
right. So that was the worst advice I ever took, to be honest.
Honestly, it's funny how you say that, because like, for me personally, I did the girl thing, and I wouldn't, like, for me in my life, I wouldn't say like that was bad. I think I needed it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I needed it. I needed to get it on my system.
Yes.
So I can value different types of relationships.
I got you on that.
You know
I feel like I got it out of the system, but then when I was in the process, when I realized this is not it.
True.
Yeah,
then
because
it was bad for you.
Exactly. I was getting it out, but then I realized I was still stretched so thin, because you're trying to make all these plans, all these dates, all these things, and it's just like, damn. And then some of these women aren't really the greatest for you.
No.
Right. So that's what I was experiencing, and the ones who actually were good for me, I wasn't investing in my time into them, or I was losing out on them because I was elsewhere. Right. So yeah, you live and you learn, brother. It's lessons, always lessons.
One more question when it comes to like the worst advice and stuff like that. So what are the qualities of a good woman for you and your lifestyle?
I know this might sound weird, but I don't need a girl who's an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Like, I don't care for you to be doing those things. My biggest thing for me when it comes to women is just that you just need to have your own path.
Okay.
Whether that be in your 9 to 5, I just need somebody who's always trying to excel. That's the thing. I think sometimes people are like, oh yeah, you need to talk to an entrepreneur girl, but I don't feel like I need to.
You know, I'm the exact same way. I don't feel like it's the entrepreneur thing. I feel it's a purpose thing.
Yes, it's a purpose. Have a purpose in what you're doing. Like, you can work a 9 to 5 and want to level up. You want to be the supervisor. Next, you want to be the CEO. Yeah. Then you want to work up and be the CFO or whatever. Just have a purpose in what you're doing and want to elevate every time, because I'm like that. And if I feel like if I'm around a person and a woman who wants to elevate, we could just bounce off each other.
Exactly.
It's like I can motivate her and she can motivate me, and we're just both trying to elevate.
You're learning different industries.
You're learning. So I think the qualities for me is just that, and just someone who's solid in knowing themselves and being authentic to who they are, right? And family culture is very big.
Yeah, 100%.
You need somebody who's very big with that, especially in this type of industry. Yeah. So
okay, dope. And best advice?
Best advice I ever got was don't listen to nobody.
Don't listen to nobody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and I know it sounds simple, but my mentor that I have now, that's the advice he tells me. Even till this day, don't listen to anybody, because we have so much negative energy on the outside of us.
We do.
You can go to someone and say, hey, I'm gonna start a podcast. Be like, yo, why you want to try that? There's 10,000 podcasts. So that's horrible.
Yeah, that's
like,
horrible.
I want someone who's literally gonna tell me, bro, like, yes, go for it. Yeah. Go for it. But even when I was starting my juice journey, people told me, oh, you can't do that because there's so much other juice businesses, or there's a real fruit. How are you gonna, compete with them? When I started my cleaning business, people are like, oh, you don't want to get into the cleaning industry. Everybody has that. It's so saturated, right? So it's
where
like
the traffic is. That's what I believe.
Facts, right? So it's like, don't listen to anybody. That is probably the best advice I could tell you. Obviously, in certain context, obviously. But when it comes to like your dreams and the things that you believe in and you want to do, don't listen to anybody. You have to stay focused, man. You have to, right? I can refer back to the Kanye documentary, right? When people weren't, nobody was even giving him no play.
Even when he got signed, they didn't even believe in it.
But he didn't listen to anybody. He kept just going for his dreams, going for what he believed in. And that's literally how I live my life. Literally, I don't listen to anybody when it comes to what I want to accomplish.
Dope.
Yeah,
dope, man. That's amazing. That's a packed interview. Shoot.
Yes, sir.
Shoot. Just let everybody know how they can contact you and for what reasons, or like, because obviously you have a lot going on. I
would say for any of my community initiatives, I would say Black Legacy Now TO is the page that I'm going to start pushing my things on. That's my Instagram. We'll be creating a Facebook for that. When it comes to my juices, we do like catering and stuff. So you can hit me up on Sam's Juices on Instagram and Facebook. And for any cleaning needs, commercial needs, S6 Cleaning on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's just it, man. If you want to follow me personally, robert.s.waltz.
Okay, let's get it.
Yeah, brother.
Is there anything you want to say? Anything?
Yeah, man. I would like to say for anybody who's out there, who's an entrepreneur, who is actually trying to make things happen, literally just get your ideas, write it on paper, please. Like, it's so important. I feel like if you have something in your mind, it will only just stay in your mind if you don't put it on paper, right? The way to execute is get it on paper, write it down, and figure out how you're going to get to that dream and make it happen. That's it.
All right. Mic
Execution.
drop. Mic drop. And that's it. Episode 9. Here we go. Black is the New Rich. Please subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. And till next time. Wow.
That was dope, bro. Thank you, bro. Wow.